So behind me here is the most expensive version of the Lexus RX that you can buy today. This is the Blackline Special Edition. This one as spec is $93,000. Very, very expensive. If you're not familiar with the RX lineup, it goes 350, 350h, 500h, and then there is a plug-in hybrid called the 450h Plus. But this 500h is the most powerful version of the RX that you can buy. So it makes about 367 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. So the RX 500h here has a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Now this is a hybrid setup, so you do have the engine up front, but you do have an electric motor up here as well. And then there is another electric motor at the rear axle, which powers the rear wheels. So with this Blackline edition, you get this incognito color. That's what it's called. It looks like cement from Toyota, and it looks really good on this car. It really shows off the lines really well. Really aggressive front end. I'm a big fan of this front end design. I know some people don't like it, but I'm a pretty big fan of it. All the blacked out bits, the lights are kind of blackened as well. So inside that light casing is a triple beam headlight, and then you do actually get fog lights, which is cool because a lot of manufacturers are really pulling away from putting fog lights on their cars. And then you've got this blacked out front lip, and it's pretty aggressive. So the most noticeable thing on the Blackline edition are these 21-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels. They're in a black finish, and then you'll also see giant orange brake calipers on the back there. Those are 6-piston brakes. Awesome, they stop really well. And then you've got 15.7-inch rotors on the fronts there. So really big brakes. They look super good. And then up here, we've got an F-Sport badge, which is also on the other side. We've got blacked out mirrors, and then kind of blacked out trim all the way around. There's a little bit of a black outline on the door handle. Now these door handles, you just press a button and then you just open it like that. So you're not actually pulling a physical handle, it's just a button. Now I really like the rear end. It's very futuristic. We got that big light bar going across. Now if it were me, I would have put a quad exhaust coming out at the back there, or at least a dual exhaust system. I mean, they are duals, but they're hiding under there. I guess with hybrids, the play is to just pretend like there are no exhaust pipes. Not a Blackline specific thing, but you do kind of see the daytime running lights shape in the lights back here. So if you follow on Instagram, or if you're subscribed on YouTube, you will see that I put out polls every week asking you kind of what your opinion is on the design of the vehicles that I'm reviewing. So this week we got 339 votes, and 89% of you said you like the design of this RX 500h Blackline. So that's a pretty strong approval rating. Now you're probably thinking, man, this guy got a haircut and he's not in the RX. What is going on? Well, we're 2 weeks into the future here. I am editing the RX video today, but I'm also shooting this Toyota Crown Signia. So this video will be coming out in about 2 weeks. So here we are in this graphite aluminum F-Sport interior, and it looks really nice. This is really cool trim. Love the suede on the door panels here around the speakers. And if you notice the ambient lighting, it's pretty subtle, but it's not tacky, it's classy. I'm not a huge fan of all the crazy lighting in the Mercedes, and now even BMW is kind of going that direction. It's nice that it's subtle and it's not distracting at night. it doesn't really burn your eyeballs. So the focal point here is this big 14-inch screen, basically a laptop size screen here. And then you've got a 12.3-inch driver's display. And they are really good quality. They are nice and crisp. One thing that I don't always love are HVAC controls in the screen. I always find it kind of annoying. However, they've done a good job here in making it very simple. Everything's laid out pretty easy. You don't have to go through sub-menus to change things. And you've got your heated seats over here, ventilated seats as well, and then 2 levels of a heated steering wheel. And then if you do want to change the temperature, you can do it over here with these dials with the dual zone climate. I believe this is a tri-zone climate. There is another climate control in the back seats as well. Below you do have a physical volume knob, so that's great. And then you do have a camera button here for your 360 camera. And it does also do another cool thing where you can see through the car. So let me just put it into drive so you can see that here. When you throw this into drive and you kind of go forward, you can see here that it's kind of scanning the road and then looking through the car. So that's pretty cool, actually. Really handy for off-roading, not that you're gonna be off-roading your Blackline. So the next thing you'll notice is this F-Sport steering wheel. It is very sporty and I do like it. This is probably my biggest beef with the car are these touch buttons right here. I do find them kind of hard to use when you're driving. You feel like you have to keep looking up and down to make sure you're hitting the right button. And then you do have like extra pages within this. And you can see this on your driver's display and on your heads-up display. But changing your drive modes like this is kind of hard. It's kind of too bad that they didn't put like a drive mode button in here. Kind of like the LC500 has the like twisty knob up here for turning your drive modes. But the other way you can change your drive mode is through the screen. So basically what you would do is just hit the vehicle button, drive mode, and then there's eco, normal, and sport. I've been driving this car around in eco quite a bit, but if you do put it into sport, you do get kind of a different gauge on the driver's display as well. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and it works smooth and seamlessly as well. But now leaving the screen, we do have a lot of connectivity. We've got 4 USBs up here, 1 regular USB and then 3 USB-Cs. And then you do have a wireless charger down here as well, and quite a lot of storage space down there. That shuts really nicely. And then you've got some pretty deep cup holders right here. Now, if you've never been in a Toyota or a Lexus, this is kind of the shifter setup they have. Basically what you have to do is push to the left and then down. So you push left down to drive and then push forward for reverse. And then you just hit this park button to stop it. And then down here you have auto hold, you have your traction control off button, and then a terrain mode button, and you do have your electromechanical parking brake. And another super nice feature in Lexus is that you can open the center console both ways. So the passenger and the driver can both get in there pretty easy. I was in a Cadillac CT5 last week and it would only open from this side, and anybody in this passenger seat couldn't really see what was going on in the console. And then if you're trying to get out of your Lexus, you just press the button here and push. And I'm always a big fan of rear view mirror cameras, so thumbs up. Then you have the Mark Levinson sound system in here, and it sounds pretty good. In the second row, the rear seat room is good. Comfort is good. You do have buttons to recline the seats, a lot of visibility out of that panoramic glass roof, heated and ventilated seats, temperature controls, and 2 USB-Cs. If you're looking for a third row, they don't make an RXL anymore. You have to go up 1 vehicle size into the TX. So of course this is a luxury vehicle and it has a power lift gate. But what else it has, it does have powered second row seats. So you just press the button over here and then they go down. And they go down fairly quick, not too slow. Some vehicles, they really chug, but that is a nice feature to have. And they do also go back up automatically, and I'll show you that here. So we'll just press these buttons and bam, they come back up. Super handy feature. Now, as someone that owns a small little Mazda 3 hatchback, I'm always able to fit my camera gear in that thing, but it's just been so much nicer with this week. Camera gear fits in there absolutely no problem. So welcome to yet again another gloomy, sad, rainy day here in southwestern Ontario. It's supposed to rain for the next week or something, so makes for good filming. I do enjoy filming in the rain, but otherwise, kind of missing the sun right now. So it's Saturday now, and I'm basically at the end of my test drive here. I'll take this back on Monday. And it's been a great week with this car. It's a very, very smooth ride. I'm out on bumpy country roads. I'm in sport mode, and it takes the bumps like a champ. Very quiet in here. Yesterday when I was filming, the birds were chirping like crazy outside, and I couldn't hear them in here. And then when I opened the door, I'm like, whoa, it's loud out here. So very, very good sound insulation in this car. But this is quick. This car is pretty quick. We've got 367 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. This is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, and it is turbocharged. And up front we have a 6-speed automatic transmission paired with an electric motor. And then on the rear axle we have an electric motor that's completely cut off from the rest of the vehicle. So there is no drive shaft going down the vehicle. The rear wheels are completely powered by an electric motor. All right, let's give this car a bit of a launch. I've got traction off, sport mode. Pretty quick. Not like out of this world fast, but it should get you somewhere in the 5-second range to 60 miles per hour. All right, so yes, very fake sound in here. You can turn it off, and there are different stages. There's 3 stages of it. It sounds kind of synthesized. I turned it off, and you don't hear anything, basically. So this is all very generated sound. It's not really real. Now, this does have adaptive suspension, so when you throw this into sport mode, it does tighten up the suspension. It does tighten up the steering. All right, so as you take this around corners, you feel the weight of the vehicle for sure, but it's not bad, actually, to be honest. It's not as, like if you're in a Porsche Cayenne, you're not going to feel any body roll. In this, you're still feeling body roll. They really prioritize the comfort and luxury in this vehicle over the like sporty feel. The steering is quite precise though, but yeah, you're feeling a lot of body roll when you do this. And let's be real, this is a SUV. People buy SUVs because they want comfort. And they want to sit up high, and they don't like necessarily care about how it handles in the corners. That being said, the Direct 4 all-wheel drive system in the 500h F Sport Performance really helps make the RX in general feel more light on its feet and a little bit more nimble. Now this car is front wheel biased. This is a front wheel biased all-wheel drive system, which is a bit different than a BMW X5, which will give you a rear wheel biased system. All-wheel drive, but it'll be rear wheel biased. So that'll be a little bit more performance oriented. Now, visibility has never been an issue in this car at all this week. You do have a pretty good little window out the back there, so you can see your blind spot pretty clearly. And you have like every safety feature going on in this car, and we've got this rear view mirror camera up here that does a really good job. All right, so I have used this adaptive cruise on the highway, and it works really well. Here it is out here on a country road, and you'll see you do have to hold on to the steering wheel. It's not like a Super Cruise or a Blue Cruise. And if you do look away for just a few seconds, it'll start signaling for you to keep your eyes on the road, but it does a really good job at keeping the car in the lane. And then the other spectacular thing about this vehicle is the turning radius because of this rear wheel steering, and the rear wheel steering is great. So we just go like this. Perfect. I don't have to do a 3-point turn or anything. Phenomenal. All right, so this is a hybrid, so you want to know fuel economy, obviously. 11 liters per 100 kilometers is what I'm averaging right now. You can get that down for sure. I'm just kind of pushing the car at the moment. Now for a hybrid, that doesn't sound very good, but for maybe a vehicle in this class with this kind of performance, it's not too bad. This has a 65 liter fuel tank, and it cost me about $80 to fill it up from empty. It does take premium fuel, so you do have to put 91 in this car. Now when you're in this eco mode, you would expect the battery to come on a bit more than it does. It really only comes on at really, really low speeds, or when you're stopped at a traffic light. I don't really notice the battery turning on any other time, which is quite a bit different from the 350h, where the battery kicks in quite a bit more and helps you with fuel savings. This powertrain is set up to keep the engine ready to go for max performance, so it doesn't put that EV battery in too often, which is again different from the 350h, which is trying to prioritize fuel savings. So I have driven the 350h version of the RX before, and I think that trim makes the most sense for the RX. You're getting the fuel economy numbers, you're still getting all the luxury comfort, still looks really nice, and it's way less money than this 500h. And if you really care about fuel economy, you'll get the 450h plus plug-in hybrid. But really, cars at this price point, do you really care about fuel economy if you're spending $93,000 on a vehicle? I don't know. This is kind of the only way you can get the highest performance Lexus, so it's just going to be a hybrid no matter what. So you don't really have an option. So when I talk about these fuel economy numbers, I don't know if it really matters all that much. So I have thoroughly enjoyed driving this all week. I'm pretty sad to let go of it, to be honest. Maybe I'll just keep it. Just kidding, I can't do that. But I think the sweet spot for the RX is really the 350h. Much more affordable. I mean, still expensive, but much more affordable. I don't know about the 450h plus, because it ends up, you can get it almost as expensive as this 500h. And at that point, like, what are you, fuel savings? I don't know if fuel savings really matter to people when you're buying such an expensive vehicle. I don't know, let me know in the comments below if it still matters. I am not in the tax bracket to afford one of these vehicles, so I don't know. The Lexus RX 500h Blackline is a terrific looking SUV. And if you're someone who loves the RX and wants a very special rare version of it, then this is definitely something for you, because this is being limited to 500 units for all of North America. It has aggressive styling. It has a very comfortable interior that is mostly fuss-free and nothing feels cheap. It has plenty of power to keep things interesting. The rear wheel steering is fantastic and makes moving around the city and in tight parking spots incredibly easy. It's all in all a great package. The worst part is just the price. So yeah, sad to say goodbye to the Lexus RX 500h. It's been a great week with it. I am picking up a 2025 BMW X3 M50. Now, fully redesigned for this year. A little bit controversial design. I'll be interested to hear what you guys think, but I love the X3. I love the previous X3. So I'm hoping that it still has the same kind of driving dynamics as the old X3. Anyways, thanks for getting to the end of this video. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.